considered that my one and only warning to never leave this apartment at night. Got chased by some homeless dude around the block. Came to the realization that from this day I have to moderate to avoid the gosh damn spam bots giving them Scary Dave, I don't expect you to be a moderator, I just expect you to be able to post links. I didn't give you this power with any responsibility. Spider-Man is very disappointed in me. If that's what adrenaline feels like, it's nothing like what slash trash slash makes it out to be. Actually, isn't it always just like slash and then the name instead of slash 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 double slash? Like, do you say the second slash or is it just slash trash? I don't know. Rather than feeling like I was the king shit of Fuck Mountain, I felt like vomiting all over my already dingy carpet whenever I managed to slam into my house. Yeah, the downside is terrible. Scary Dave, I didn't change anything. Like, if they didn't come already, they're not coming, I guess. I have nothing to offer them. There is nothing here for them. Abandon all hope. With great power comes almost no... Spider-Man. Peter. With great power comes almost no responsibility. Fucking shoot a man dead if you want to. Use your spider powers. Uncle Ben, I thought you would tell me, no, Spider-Man. No, why is he calling him Spider-Man, Saffy? Why is Uncle Ben calling him that? Uncle Ben, I'm still Peter. No, you're Spider-Man. Kill some cops. I never liked them. Dad, Uncle Ben, I don't know how to feel about how you're just suggesting I kill people. Go fight in the wrestling ring. God dang. Yeah. Already, the idea of moving in general sucked. I like how something that's kind of missing is the emphasis of like, hey, Andon is kind of moving to a whole different place. Not the point of the story, but I like that kind of world building a lot. I'm just a sucker for it, okay? Why do you think I'm writing about Numantic powers? Why do I think too much about how much the history of that world clicks together? How Numancy and its power progression fits into the world at large? How Shalonians work? Why Shalonians have the relationship they do? The idea that Shalonians were on the new first planet before humans showed up, and humans are the invasive colonist species, but they don't really care because they don't live in the same climates, etc., etc. How a pseudo hive mind would function. Jesus, Saffy, stop. It's not relevant. He's just a guy trying to fuck a dinosaur. Jesus. Already the idea of moving in general sucked, but learning that I was moved to the ass-crack part of town was just the maraschino cherry on top of my already growing shitcake. And forget all that, it's muggy as hell. And forget all of that, it's muggy as hell. Outside of the residence, it's rarely this bad, but fuck is it foggy. Like I just entered Silent Dill or downloaded some shitty house wad. I mean, I'm writing Ranger in the fog, shush! Before I knew it though, the fog manages to air out as I continue to cautiously continue along the sidewalk. Fuck you. Hearing the cacophony of voices in the distance, growing louder and louder. My phone buzzed, and I realized I was kind of out of it. Sure, I was looking at the directions, but other than that, I was mindlessly following the red trail the map was giving me, and I hadn't figured out that I was only a few minutes away. Speaking of which, I was nearly half an hour early. Just fucking peachy. So much for trying to leave my dingy apartment early. Is this like go bifurcate high and the school starts at 10 a.m.? I guess there's no winning in that regard. Choices are to rot in bed or to try and get the day over as soon as possible. Pick your poison. Both seem equally appealing. A minute or two later, eventually there I was. In front of 3 fucking flights of stairs. Volcano High has a few stairs, but they have no wheelchair ramp for some reason. Condensed entirely with colorful misfits varying in size, shape, and make. Seriously, some of these dodgers could be the school mascot, or a cartoon character, the kind you would see in a sugar-packed cereal box or other miscellaneous items at the grocery store. Hell yeah, buddy. And as I suspected, all eyes are on me, going subtly up and down with each step I took, as if I was wearing a Halloween costume in the middle of spring, just like my junior year. A part of me finds humor in that. Like, yeah, I am the outlier in this sea of Crayola, horns, feathers, and scales. Again, I knew it. But they're no better than the assholes back in rock bottom, not even giving me the light of day to maybe show that I am beyond what they see. It's not like I wanted to anyway. My plan there is simple. Blend out. You mean blend in. Become a silhouette in the crowd. A background character with one act. Again, I don't know if the emphasis really works, but that's my preferred style of writing. There's a dinosaur-shaped trebuchet out of frame for the disabled accent. See, Arthur here has it figured out. He knows how to fix these lore problems. creatively. And I'd already served my play. Thinking and actually witnessing all the stares among the faint drone of chatter just made me more irritated. And eventually I heard it. Or rather, what I could imagine hearing them say.
Is that a human?
There's a spear. Don't they all want stored away?
Skinny.
Fucking hell, moving from one shithole to enter another. Can't ever catch a break. Why can't I just be left alone? Decided I couldn't handle more being out here. I'm still getting those judging stares and comments left and right. Quickly, I walk to the other side of the school. Hold on, I just realized something and I gotta go to the bathroom again. But I'm drinking gallons, my man. Gallons. These are like multiple liter bottles, but I need to change the title of this actually so people know that it's also something else. And include the link. And I'm gonna go to the bathroom again. Be back in a hot minute. This is what happens when I sit down and I drink gallon after gallon after gallon after gallon. Saffy, you can stop the recording. Why doesn't YouTube like you, Arthur? Also, I think I'm going to follow Arthur's thing, and the next time I go for a big fat walk, I think I'm going to walk to the McDonald's and get that bunger. You know what? I'm going to go get a bunger next time I can. I'm going to spend that $10 and get myself a nice bunger. They got some decent nuggets and sandies. Maybe some fries. They got paprika fries. Like, you put them in a bag, you shake them around to spread the... You know. I think I'm ready to keep going. Maybe fucking pause your recording, Saffy, you fucking idiot. Borgot, hell yeah. Yeah, Bunger is the king. He provides bunker. Hey, romantic. Anyway, let's get back to it. Where are we? Why can't I just be left alone? Decided I couldn't handle... Okay, wait, no. Decided I couldn't handle being out here. I'm still getting those judging stares and comments left and right. Quickly, I speed walk to the other side of school, praying all the while to whatever fucked up God wants to listen to me, that there was an alternative entrance. After a few more minutes of circling, my ticket was seen. And it was much more golden than I could have imagined. Not only was there a side entrance, but the side of the school was also nearly vacant. A few sparse groups in here and there, but nothing like the swallows of rainbow out front. I can hunker down here. Hell yeah, hunker. Damn it, Scary Dave. The goonbots! Oh no. Oh no. Finding a nearby bench, I take my seat and whip out my phone again after having put it away early. Of course you put it... Just fucking... I mean... I don't know, I just think it's just a weird thing to comment on. Me, Mom, and Dad talked to Principal Spears as part of the registration. I want nothing to do with it. But I was forced to by my parents and practically Spears, since he personally wanted to talk to me. I didn't say much anyway, so it was whatever. Video conferences are fucking stupid, but it beat meeting him in person in a one-on-one. By the way, I've also... The whole something, nothing... It's not something to nothing, it's nothing to something. Fuck. I've been thinking about doing that idea, like the core conceit of like 0 to all the way up there, but with the Shalonian culture and the nature changes, because Shalonians do not think like humans, and it slowly creeps up on them. Because again, I'm a sucker for world building, and it's killing everything else. Strangulation. Lore-wise, it'd be difficult to justify Anon transferring to a Shalonian installation, because they don't adopt outside that easily. I mean, they could, but I don't think the structure would work as well, because, no, it's a very different place. Very different place. Too different. Anyway, plus, it meant I got the schedule with me on my phone. One shitty interaction versus several. I'll take what little wins I can get. Thankfully, nothing had changed about the spot I was situated at. A handful of other walking paintbrushes entered the side of school, gawking at me all the same. But nothing else beyond that. I kind of like the heavier emphasis on the racism. Again, unexplored angle, kind of neat. Would love to see some of that. Even, like, for Anon, it's weird. Like, in Nothing to Something, it's kind of weird that Anon doesn't have bigger thoughts about being a dinosaur now. Outside of, I'm a Chad now, wow! Like, I've had ideas for Anon gets adopted or ends up in a different familial situation. The ones I've had so far are, the Elsa mods, aka Fang's parents and Goodbye Volcano High. They're a nice duo, you can work with them. You can have the dad, who's a little aloof, he has an accent, but when he talks about the stuff that he knows about, his accent vanishes because that's the terminology he knows and uses. And then you have the mom who's a bit stricter, but generally speaking is strict because that's what her job requires to. She's already hurting people because she's an HR manager and handles PR relations. So she's very familiar with having to scold people and the like, so it makes for a good combination. The aloof professional father who tries his best and really wants to get something out of the son, a mother who kind of sees the more pragmatic angle to things. How would it work? So here's the thing with Shalonians, right? The thing that's very much worth pointing out. The only Shalonian I ever made in many years is just Ophinia. That's it. The whole species kind of just existed so that Ophinia had an origin point. Hell, the fucking main plotline in the Medioverse is that her planet just gets blown up when she's, like, what, 10 years old? It's just fucking gone. And they're nothing like the Shalonians I'm using right now. Those are just, like, artsy-smarty people who are like, well, we're just having a fun time on our planet, I guess, and they're just sitting around painting stuff. And then they blow up from an interdimensional horror. Great. Good for them. It's such a weird twist. I have no standards for languages. I got a whole bunch of funny details, but none of them really... I mean, Jesus Christ, Saffy. Aren't you reading a fanfic? Hybrid genetics work. Holy shit! Look at this man. He's got... These things are atomic level. Fuck! I'm blown out of the water just reading the synopsis. Because I don't know what that means, but I know what you're getting at. Eventually, after scrolling endlessly through post after post to soothe the nerves further, I heard the initial bell that told all of us to start heading to our respective classes. Quickly, I pick up my bag and head to my first class. Entering, I was greeted with the school's presentation on the inside. Besides the Dodgers, I kind of like that term. It's a good racism term because it has a logical name behind it, but it's a little fuzzy when you see it first. You're like, why is that a slur? You know, I could name a few, but you can probably imagine a couple involving, say, backs or gaps in armor. I'm kind of trying to think of some myself, but... Besides the Dodgers, the place seemed pretty basic. Besides some of the extra flora growing along the walls, the shine they reflected telling me they were probably artificial. Other than that, Dodge Charger. Look at a load of all these Dodge Chargers over here. Me here, my Chevrolet. It's a big plus. Oh, God. I will never forget the Chevrolet commercial where like they light up the streets and it's a big plus, and I'm like, fuck you. God. Ugh. You know, I still... What I want to do with the Shalonians and everything... Shalonians live in a sci-fi future base. They live inside of the ice, under the ground, or in the mountains. They tend to focus on the sci-fi-ish fields, very bright, very clean, a bit sterile. Dinosaurs live in a more solar punk environment, which is clean but tends to integrate a lot of wooden materials. Glass is mostly used to bring in light. Humans live in concrete environments, very artificial, very mass-manufactured. The idea being that humanity has always kind of struggled with its own systems of power. Like, you know what people complain about capitalism? Well, in the new verse, humans have capitalism plus. It's way worse. And so they end up with brutalist structures for the most part. Whereas dinosaurs live in a world that's, you know, it's Saffy, the fanfic. Other than that, same walls, same typical decor, everything. As if I needed the extra slap in my face to tell me that what I thought was going to happen was happening right before my eyes. All that it changed was that I got a clean slate. And the only difference about that is that I'm a weirdo by default instead of outed as one. Still judged and insulted all the same. Yeah, it does kind of point out that, you know, he's still a bit of a looker. You know, a weird thing to look at and point at. And I'm still judged and insulted all the same. Probably even more so considering the prejudice that probably exists in a town comprised mostly of dinosaurs. They light up the streets. Okay, BMW owners are doing that with their fog lights. Oh, so fucking true. Oh, I had a dinner recently. And we were like, and I could look out the window and like a car bumped on a traffic bump. And like, whoa, my eyes! Flashbangs. Just, ow! I kind of like that he's like, hey, I'm in a new school, but nothing changed. I'm still me, you know? I'm still add-on. This is the whole, like, you know, time reversal thing we just had in Nothing to Something. But add-on is like, you don't need the supernatural. It's still a new situation, but it's still just add-on. What's changed? What's going to make him the better person to make this easier for realsies? Keeping my head down, I stare at the schedule while taking a glance at the labels that are indented nearby several doors I walk past, showcasing what glass on the door belonged to. What class the door belonged to. Fuck. First headache up. English. Thing is, I'm still thinking on if I want to make the new verse its own standalone thing. Not just file the serial numbers off, but just separate it wholly and make it an original work thing. A series, as it were. Things to think about. It took a bit of aimless walking since the sectors are labeled so awkwardly. Ugh, I know that feeling. But I eventually found my way. Mr. Tsuki. Strangely, the name sounded a bit familiar. I wasn't exactly sure why, though. Deja vu moment to be certain. Walking in, I was greeted by, is that a fucking bamboo sword? And a kimono? Who the hell is this guy? Given his notable wrinkles located near his maw, I assume he's the teacher. Doesn't answer why he's here all appropriating all over the place. No, not like I care, or that I even believe it's a thing in the first place. I just question what brings a man to dress like this to school. We need something sexier for the school scene. It is looping. I like that he's like using the verb appropriating. I get away from Mr. Tsuki as I look out to the rest of class. Before I could even begin to witness any of their stares, I immediately take a seat at the front, continuing to hear the soft droning conversations all the while. If I shirked away fast enough, I could probably mask myself pretty well. You know, like in the original drafts, Alan was gonna wear a mask to school, which is still fucking funny to me. So long as I make sure that sitting here is not a big deal. So far I've accomplished that goal. A few more minutes pass, and the... Why did you turn that off, Saffy? Jesus. Mistakes are being made all over the place. A few more minutes passed, and the tardy bell dinged the same tune it did beforehand. With it fading, the teacher began to speak. Hello, Kurasu. Hello, Kurasu. When you say Kurasu, In Japanese, you can only end a syllable on a vowel or an N. So he would say kurasu. Hero kurasu. What the fuck? I was immediately bombarded with asinine empathics. This man was lobbing at class with the emphs. Hell yeah, that's a good word. I'm gonna look that one up. Hold on, I need to look up this word because it sounds fucking awesome. An empathic consonant. Hell yeah, bitch. And on the still weeb, right? So, yeah, he should, but the problem with that, Senator, is that it creates a meta connection. And they're trying to avoid it. They don't want Anon to acknowledge real life. He needs to stay within the world, and it would not make sense. The reference wouldn't work like that. It would be very strange. A little too strange. I like it. Human architects listen to Papers, Please OST before doing anything glorious. Erestroika. The thing... So, like, the lore I've invented for that setting, right, for the new verse, is fucking weird. First, there is the insects people, and the Karina, who don't even show up at all, because they're like, surface ain't for us. The humans and dinosaurs are just a little too silly for us. But they had a good relationship with the Shalonians. The Shalonians' origin myth says, like, hey, we showed up. Maybe there were other sentient species. We might have kicked their asses. It's unclear how literal that part's meant. But it eventually describes how 12 other Numancers showed up, and they were like, let's invent some species. And they basically made dinosaur-human hybrids, who turned into the other ones. Because a whole bunch of fucking shit happened along the way. One guy got a little antsy. He was like, oh boy, I'm gonna take over now, buddies. It's a whole fucking mess. But I still haven't really thought to myself, why are humans like this? I think the reason is because dinosaurs are united under one big thing. They're united by the priesthood, or basically the magic boy, Numancers. In humanity, you aren't a Numancer, because Numancers upset the systems of power. They're too dangerous, you know? If one person can shoot the president with a fucking mind bomb, that's a problem. That's a fucking problem for the presidency. So they consider them witches and warlocks, and you just burn them at the stake. To the point that one of the main characters in the series, Dr. Octave, is a witch hunter. He sent a bunch of miners to burn on the stake. Woof. Just making sure that guy's a nice asshole when you learn about him. Puts him in contrast, I guess. The dinosaurs lived under one big empire, called the Sankolo Empire, which is, again, scaly, holy people, but shortened. And the core idea is that, again, they are ruled by the priesthood. And under this, there's a caste system. But the caste system is like, who cares? So they're way more open. So dinosaurs they are more into the LGBT stuff because, as far as dinosaurs are concerned, if you just do what you're supposed to, it's fine. Whereas humans have this tighter structure because the people in charge want to keep their power. And unlike dinosaurs who can defend their position by fucking someone up or using a cool magic spell, humans, for a large portion, have to defend themselves by abusing power structures. Because, again, they ain't dinosaurs. They can't take a bullet. So the whole situation's different. And when the two finally meet, what a time it is. The problem with this conversation, however, is that technically speaking, there's an implication that Japan still exists because I've mentioned anime. But that's a conversation for another time. In his defense, they were psychers, so it's okay. Listen, if you are the president and you can't take a couple of psychers by yourself, what are you even doing? The emperor could take 100 psychers in a day. In fact, he eats them for breakfast. Literally. Tasty psycher breakfast. It's filling and nutritious for mind and body. Okay.